All your favorite producers, your singers, they have all succumb to the record company business. And you got to go in there knowing ahead of time. And they pick on the young ones because you're young. They think they don't know no business. We can run anything on them and try to squeeze you to where you be like, okay, just go to put it out. I'm trying to make this month's rent. And they count on that. Several stars, and they are tortured. Yeah, they got money, but they are tortured. They don't have family like they want to have. Most of them who's on certain levels. There's some that are on lower levels where they still grounded people, but they got money. Right. But there are some that never were grounded, and the money didn't change for the better for them, except for being able to buy stuff. But they still can't get along with people and have a hard time, and they're lonely, frankly, weird. Like I met Michael Jackson. I went out to his ranch in Las Vegas, being one of his producers and writers at the time. 2000.
That's so. Wait, hold on. We're not gonna just glaze over that. What a Michael Jackson, people. Michael D, King of Pop. Michael Jackson's producer and writers at the time. That is awesomeness.
Thank you. Yes. This is 2008. I started all to the point where he passed away.
Oh, wow.
But I went to his ranch, and it was only one time, and they made me sign a $10 million confidentiality contract that I couldn't talk about it in the press and all of that. And I went to his crib, me and this producer, Dr. Freeze, who did Poison for BBD.
Crazy. So just dropping hits.
Because Dr. Freeze now, he had written Break the Dawn for Michael Jackson a few years later. I mean, before. And so Michael was calling him back, and he goes, hey, man, you need to talk to Moe Z. So I end up there. Interesting thing, like we're sitting in a room, and all of a sudden we look, and he's standing there. How did you get it? What the, And when I'm leaving, I mean, he walks out the door right in front of me, him and his son Blanket. I walk behind them. I open up the door. They're not on the stairs. They're gone. And I'm like, where did you go?
Where'd you
go? So they take a lot of precaution. They're safe. Got to be safe. And they're in a whole different place than what we think is normal. They're not sitting on the TV, sitting on the couch watching TV. They're doing stuff, because they don't know how to be regular.
Well, and here's the thing. It's like when we talk about Michael Jackson, homeboy had to run with the army because there were so many people that would literally try to come at him and attack him. Like, people falling out, passing out with him just standing there, moving his head. Like when you have that amount of like just people idolizing you, it makes sense that you almost kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't live a normal life.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that's just.
So that's why I'm saying, me thinking that I wanted to be a star was.
You didn't know what you were saying.
At the time.
Yeah.
I want to be on TV like Michael Jackson, but I didn't want Michael Jackson type problems.
Right.
But it comes with it. There's rumors, legal battles, and people saying this and that, and there's a lot that comes with it. You gotta figure out where you draw your line. And that's why it's big, because my dignity line it was down here somewhere where I'm not gonna let it get up to where it's
Right.
great. And
Right.
so, and then when you have that in the industry, a lot of times they try to push you out. So
Mm,
to counter that, like I said, you practice, you get yourself to undeniable.
mm,
Then after that, you get a business sense and learn what it is you got to do to navigate business wise in the industry. So you can do it from an independent standpoint. Because as long as somebody else is in control of what you do, you won't make the money that you should make.
right. And those are powerful nuggets, Mo.
Mm,
And man, like
mm.
this is so valuable. This is literally gold. So,
Me this when I was young.
man, and see, and that's the thing, like, and that's why I'm creating this space, for us artists, led to
Yes,
learn from the legends, and then, so we can be rising legends, you know what I mean? For
yes,
because yeah, I had to like again, I was lucky enough to have a mom who
yeah.
was she actually did A&R before in some records. She will never tell you that, but she
Oh my
actually did, yeah, she actually did some A&R in the past with some major record.
it
What you say?
explains it
It,
explains a whole lot
yes.
because I thought that she was very smart at what she was doing with teaching you guys. I always thought that.
Yeah, she is highly intelligent in multiple facets of different fields, but she used to be at A&R for a minute for some major record labels and companies in the past. And
Wow.
so I was able to learn from that, you know what I mean? But then also when I went to school, and when my mom encouraged me to go to school, because originally I was just gonna be like, look, I'm about to go hard in the paint, do music, and call it a day. Uh,
Like me.
she was like, no, go to school for this. You need to learn because it's the music business. You know what I mean? A lot of times we forget about that business aspect of it. And so
Yes.
everything you're saying, like, is so powerful and impactful because you have the experience. I always feel like you definitely can learn. It's always great to learn as much as possible, be a sponge, absorb that information. But there's nothing like experience, you know what I mean? And actually live in it. And and
Now,
and and so like you kind of get that when we kind of get that from you, that experience when you're talking about it.
right.
So yeah,
Now think of
what you
if
say?
you got think of this though.
Mm-hmm.
If someone had talked to me when I was young, like I'm talking to you guys out there, uh, the experience I would have gotten would have still yielded me the financial backing because I would have
Exactly.
business part right. I love all of the experience I had, but because how the industry is and how those people are always scraping to make their projects and tours happen without spending all of the money they should spend,
Right.
but they want to make it how can I cut this and minimize it? So it made me, because I was so hungry to be a star, it made me miss out on the correct money I was supposed to get. So I think it's supposed to be a good balance of getting the experiences, but while you're getting it, you have the knowledge to know, no, this is monetized
Mm,
and I need to get my money for that. And I
right.
appreciate for your experience.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I do. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed and happy to have you as one of my mentors. And now, the listeners out there in the ether on YouTube can have you as a mentor as well, like putting us on game about
Yeah.
experiences and stuff like this. So we don't have to go through that firsthand, learn it so you don't have to go through it firsthand. And so you can also, kind of make smarter decisions, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so, well, not even just smarter, informed decisions, because when you're not informed, how are you going to make the right decision? You get what I'm saying? So, So then going back to kind of songwriting and getting into that aspect of it, can you walk us through kind of your typical songwriting process? So what does that look like from like the initial inspiration to like the final production?
Okay. Um, the majority of the time, especially these days, I will create a simple music template kind of track
Mm,
of where I'm trying to go. And a lot of the times it's not in order or anything, it's just kind of playing all the way through. And then I'll mumble. I will mumble melodies.
mm,
And the reason why I do this is because don't worry, be happy.
mm,
His chorus was and he's humming,
mm,
but people remember that. And it and
right,
it and that's one of the points where I thought, okay, melody is very, very important. And I would
right.
listen to music, and the music would have musical breaks of melody, horn doing something, or somebody doing something like that. So what I would do is mumble to try to create the chorus, the hook. What am I looking for out of this song? The main theme. Once I come up with that, I'll record it, and then I'll go back and I go, okay, so how do I explain this story and create by mumbling again
Mm,
a melody for the verse that's different from what the chorus is. And then I'll try to create those words and come up with that. And once I get that, I'll go to the second verse and do the same thing. But then I'll listen to it over and over again. And how do I embellish this? Are these
mm,
the right are these the right lyrics? Sometimes I'll go back and change a couple of lines here and there. Um, I haven't written lyrics on a piece of paper for like mm, 20, 25 years.
wow.
I just, whether it's rap or songs, I'll just, because I have the ability to record it, I'll just mumble it until I figure it out, and then
Mm,
words, and then I'll put the words down. But then I start thinking about what's the best take of it,
mm,
because I get the words down, but it's not the right take of it. So I'll practice it and practice it till I get it. Sometimes I feel like I need a bridge, and then I'll go in and and change things around. But really, that's just the essence of it right there. I really feel like the chorus is the meat of it. It tells you what's going on in this song. The the verses break it down to where you understand why you're saying what it is you're saying in the hook.
right.
And then
Wow.
I score it after that.
Hey, shoot,
Yeah,
period. Score it. So then you could give it out to your other musician friends and they could play it live if they want to.
that. Oh wow! You mean
That
what you?
That is so cool. Like it's crazy because I always like to figure out like other people's influences and how their process is. 'Cause I know like Symphony and I typically like Symphony, she'll start off with a beat first.
Mm-hmm.
Typically she'll start off with the beat. She'll be like, I got a good beat. And like she'll just hum it out and then I'd be like, okay. And I could just while she's humming, I'm literally seeing lyrics in my head and then we'll write it down. Like me,
Mm-hmm.
typically I'm a weirdo. Sometimes I'll have lyrics that pop up first, but it'll be the
Mm-hmm.
lyrics with the melody. You know what I mean? I'll have the melody with the lyrics, but I don't
See,
have no beat. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
you got somebody that know how to make a beat to it.
exactly.
Winning. Mm-hmm.
So it's just crazy and it is so cool. Kind of how that works. And so as we're talking about your songwriting process and like from point A to final production, um, when you're writing the song, I know we kind of spoke about earlier your diverse genre influences. Like
Right.
when you're writing, how do you kind of balance implementing them in
Mm-hmm.
that song that you're writing? You know what I mean? Because I know sometimes for me, one of my issues when I'm writing something, it's like, okay, if I want it to sound jazzy or even R&B, but because I love rock so much, I love a funky guitar. I'm like, I want to put that in there too. Like, where do you kind of draw the line and how do you balance like incorporating your diverse genre influences when you're writing a new song?
I think it depends on the particular genre I'm doing that I'm adding these elements into.
Mm,
Like if I'm adding rock elements to it, I make sure that the hip hop elements are more prominent.
mm,
As well as if I'm doing rock, I make sure that the rock elements are more prominent than the hip hop elements I add to it. They're more additives and coloration.
right. Okay. Period.
Yeah,
Well,
you
so
got to determine by what song you're creating, how much juice to give it of the other stuff.
right. Right. Okay. Excellent. So then another question for you then would be like what are some unique songwriting techniques then you've developed over the years that
You
yeah, some unique techniques that you've developed.
hmm. I couldn't tell you because
Hmm.
I feel like everything I do is unique because
Period. I like
the
that
look on
answer.
the look on people's faces when I show them what I created, they're like, they got that.
I
What
got
the?
that thing, that the little that's
Yeah,
different.
I do that. I do that a lot. I remember back in the day, Warren G had this group called the Twins, and
Mm,
it's I grew up knowing these guys, but I went to their house one day and I was playing one of my hip hop songs that was just bananas. It was out of here. I had sampled this song from, I think it might have been Phil Collins or something, but it was this energy of, and I'm
hmm.
rapping, and they're gangster rappers, and they looking at me like,
Boy.
what? I always do that to people because of the mixtures that I love in music. Sometimes people don't want to hear that. There are people that
Yeah.
in the hood that don't want to hear no guitar.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's
like,
true.
sorry, bro.
You gonna get this guitar
You know, get good
and a
guitar.
little bit of keys.
Yeah. Yeah. There was somebody told me one time I had made a video, it's like it's keyboards and stuff in it. I'm like, do you just want it to be drums and bass?
Like for look, don't let me go into that. Don't let me go into like where the
Right.
melody at.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But that's dope. I like that answer. I like that answer. Everything you do is unique. And it is.
Yeah.
It's a testament to again your repertoire, who you are as an artist, and even the people that work with you. Like, you know what I mean? Because legends work with legends. That's what I believe in, you know what I
True.
mean?
That's true.
And so then how do you also kind of approach writing and producing for different artists? So I feel like it's gonna be based off of what you said. I feel like I kind of know what your answer might be to this. But there
Mm-hmm.
it's so different working with different people. You know, like again, you work with Michael Jackson, Tupac, Tracy Spencer, Earth, Wind and Fire, New Edition, you know what I mean? Like so
Morris Day.
like Morris Day, you know what I'm saying? Snoop Dogg, the list goes on. Like, you've worked with, it's just crazy. So, like, all those aspects, working with all those different people who have different musical ears, they all have different visions. And you know what I mean? They all are super particular about something. Like, how do you kind of approach writing with those people? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you approach kind of writing something and producing something new for those
Mm-hmm.
different artists with those different personalities and those different backgrounds?
So I learned this from Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and I learned this back in the days when they were working with Janet Jackson on the Control album, which was one of her biggest, probably her biggest album. Uh, they were talking about the artists that they would work with: Alexander O'Neal, Sherelle, uh, Cheryl Lynn, the girl from Solid Gold that I couldn't remember, Cheryl Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
They did songs for her and working with Prince and in the time, And so they were saying that when you're working with an artist, you talk to them and you find out things about them, how their personality is, things that they go through in their life, and what they think and feel about it. You just
Right.
listen. You listen while they're talking, and you go, okay, and it gives you ideas for songs immediately because you're like,
Mm,
oh, I can write a song about that. Make it from your perspective on the kind of person who you are, and don't interject what I would think. You know,
mm,
make it a
right.
fantasy.
Right.
A lot of my songs are not how I feel deep down inside, but what I know other people have gone through and going through, and
Mm,
that makes it touch them.
mm. So then it's kind of like you're writing it's like you're writing for your audience in a sense, for your listener.
For that listener, yeah, for the listener of who they are, like Tracy Spencer, and she was a kid, and her thoughts were immature and that kind of thing. And so, we said stuff like, can he call me late last night, baby? It's still my heart away. Stuff that teenagers think of,
Right.
and
Right.
we had been through it, and we know how to word it so she would be able to sing it from the heart. And so I learned that really early on because my dad would write a lot of songs, and I would try to make them feel like how he felt writing them.
Right. Man, that's dope.
Mhm.
So I know we kind of talked about earlier on kind of like you doing how drawing inspiration from film and music and film, and how like certain films will you hear the musical cues and it's like something scary and it makes you feel that, and that's also kind of a place where you kind of drew that inspiration. So kind of capitalizing on film and different things like that. What do you think are kind of, or better yet, what challenges and rewards come with writing songs for films and movie soundtracks? I know you've done things like Tales from the Hood. So like based off of different things like that and working in film and in sync and different things, what are the challenges and kind of the rewards, and what challenges and rewards come with writing songs for films and soundtracks?
Okay, so the rewards are definitely if the record label that is associated with the movie is pushing the album like it's an album, and it has the budget behind it, and able to push it. So you end up making good money in the sense of that.
Mm,
As far as the movie, it's good to have exposure being in those movies. Have your name, and when the credit comes, you see your name come up and everything, and you hear your song, and it's great. It's a great thing. Um, the disadvantages would be the the politics related to the record label and the movie company in relation to how they're promoting the album. Sometimes it's an issue where the movie company is not putting anything behind the soundtrack to push the movie. So the record label would have to do it themselves. And
mm,
that's for the movies that have a soundtrack like that. There are lots of movies that don't have a soundtrack,
mm,
to where where they sell it like this is playing on the radio and you could buy a CD of it. I have been involved with some movies like that where it was just like Sprung. I had a song in that movie called Sprung.
mm,
It was playing in one of the sections that and played for quite a good while. But the way that it happened was my publisher. I had a publisher I was signed to, and they were associated with that movie. I did a demo for Roger Troutman to do this song of mine called "Sexy Thing."
mm-hmm.
And it was written by me and my my guys, Dale Harewood and Lamarius Tyler. And we had done that song earlier in our career, like 91, with this kid, Brandon Adams, who was in this movie called People Under the Stairs. And he was in Michael Jackson's Moonwalker video. So he was a popular kid. And I had worked on it with a producer named Angela Wimbush and Ron Isley, and they both are singers and stars too.
Oh yes, we're very familiar with them. Huh, Ponder, who might that be? That's crazy.
We worked with them on that, and then years later, because never came out, I took the song and was like, if I do it with a voice box, maybe Roger Troutman can do it for the movie. So they offered it that he would do it, but then he wanted more money and it was trouble. And so they took my demo and put it in the movie. And then when they had a soundtrack, they didn't put it on the soundtrack. So, there's just business-wise, a lot of stuff, it looks good and it feels good. Like, I was a part of that, but I didn't get the money. And I didn't get the look like, you got this, we finna do this for you, uphill battle.
So really then the politics behind it is what is a major disadvantage, is kind of.
Totally. That's why you got to know everything about it and how it's run, so that when you're doing your own thing and you're independent, you got your own lawyers, you got your own business people that you go in there and talk to them and say, look, this is what we want, promotion and distribution deal, and we want to be in charge of our own thing. And if they can't handle that, you go and find that deal. But you got to make your songs, and you got to make yourself undeniable. Not that you think it is, but when everybody that you play it for goes, oh my gosh, then that's undeniable. Then you're able to go and you take 10 of those boys. You got 10 songs, you're gonna get a record deal that's gonna be worth it, to where you're running it and you got your business people and you're handling it. If it don't go that way, you're gonna get screwed over. All of your favorite artists have gotten screwed over. No matter how rich you think they are, all your favorite producers, your singers, they have all succumbed to the record company business. And you got to go in there knowing ahead of time. And they pick on the young ones because you're young. They think they don't know no business. We can run anything on them and try to squeeze you to where you be like, okay, just go to put it out. I'm trying to make this month's rent, and they count on that. So you go in there with all your ducks in a row. No, I don't need you to pay my rent.
Right.
I got these songs. I need you to give me a budget to do promotion and distribute. And you go in there forceful with your business, and you don't let them squeeze you into taking the less and being a star.
Right. Going back to that, being a star. It's all nice and fun until it's not. You know what I mean? So everybody needs, and I feel like everybody deserves recognition for their greatness and for their talent and their legacy. You know what I mean? Like, I can't never enough stop giving you your flowers, Mo, because you're just amazing. But like, again, this is such deep nuggets that you're dropping, because again, like for artists who don't know about it, who just might hear, like, they don't know that they might, or they'll know they're sitting on gold, a song that's gold, you know what I mean? And then they'll bring it to somebody, but because they don't know the value, you know what I mean? But those execs know the value, you know what I'm saying?
It'll get taken. I had 3 songs taken from me in this industry, and yeah, they changed the song, but the concept they kept. And it just kills me. This is how we do it. The beat, I used that beat for a song for my sister. The Gangster Lovin', Keisha, what's her name? Not Keisha, Alicia Keys and Eve. I used that hook, different music, but it was for my sister and and our cousin, and they had been performing it around Hollywood, and I was like, don't do that, and they did. Got taken, and the third one was Night Rider that I had with this artist named Cola, and she played it for Busta Rhymes, so he stole it, and then Jay-Z stole it from him, and they made a whole big thing out of it. And I'm like, you got to be careful who you play stuff. If you're thirsty, make sure your business is straight so that nobody is stealing your stuff, and get it copyrighted.
Right. That's crazy because Symphony and I, we so big on copyrighted. We will literally copyright the hums that we do. Then after that, we'll go ahead and copyright the rough draft and the final edit.
That's it.
The master recording.
It's that right there.
Mm-hmm.
But this is when I hummed it.
Exactly. This is when I hummed
it. Exactly.
Copyright that too.
Mm-hmm.
But so now we talked about protecting ourselves while we're in trying to get into sync and film and different things like that. Okay, so an artist has protected themselves, they got their ducks in a row. How can an up and coming singer-songwriter or musician period position themselves to write for films and movies? Like, what do they have to do to kind of get into the door? What advice would you give them if they're trying to go in that venue or that facet?
I would say this: the smartest way, and it would make bigger moves, would be getting with an entertainment lawyer that knows that kind of thing, and this is if you this is the record industry as well as the movie industry. You want an entertainment lawyer because they know everybody, so you can get things done through them. You talk to them and you tell them the things that you're trying to achieve. They will give you some insight. Oh yeah, I know such and such from over there. I could talk to them, and those are the ones that they want to talk to. They want to talk to an entertainment lawyer because they're not talking any nonsense. They're bullet points on the business and making sure the business part is handled. So I would say the key to that and getting that started would be finding an entertainment lawyer, not just a lawyer.
Right. Specifics.
Has to be an lawyer because they have to know how that operates. It's a whole different thing. It's similar to just regular business, but it's just not.
Right.
And it's about who you know and got good rapport with. And if you got a good entertainment lawyer, and they cost, when they do stuff, they're gonna bill you. They're gonna make sure that you get into the positions that is gonna keep you going. And the reason I say that, because of the internet, there's many ways of getting to TV and movies. There's many ways. A lot of the ways leave you vulnerable to these websites that are hosting what you're trying to do, and they take part of your money. And they take out, and these Spotify's and these distro kids and all, they're taking your money.
Right.
Nothing you can do about it.
Right. So position yourself to get into the door with an entertainment law attorney so they can set you up nice financially and legally and help you, because they then majority of the times know the connections in order to get into the back door.
Right.
This is expert advice, people. Yes. Woo woo. So as we move further into kind of songwriting, and just kind of like just tackle that, what are the essential first steps you think an up and coming artist should take when starting their songwriting journey?
I think listening to where others went with the songwriting, no matter how extreme, whether it's something that you don't normally listen to, but listen to how they told their story.
Right.
I think it helps you tell your story better.
That's fabulous. Okay. So we're coming up on our last two questions coming up. What techniques or practices can aspiring songwriters use to improve their lyrical and musical sound?
Mm,
What
mm.
techniques would you give?
Okay. A lot of it deals with like what I just said, with listening to what other people did,
Mm,
but a lot of it depends on experimentation and
mm,
seeing how far you can go. Um, I remember writing songs that was, um, I mean, straight plagiarism. Like
mm.
I straight stole lyrics and changed the melody, and like, but that was early in my writing.
Right.
But as I as I got a little bit older, I wrote stuff that was just completely outrageous. I mean, just outrageous, but it made me understand that you can control where you go concept wise, and also how you tell the story that you're trying to tell. You are in complete control. You could make it a tame kind of, oh, I had to re-listen to that to figure out, oh, okay, I know what they're saying. Or you can make it blatant to
Mm.
where, oh gosh, oh wow, you know,
Yeah,
that kind
it's a lot of blatant creativity nowadays.
oh my god, I I can't listen to the radio. And I thought we were bad. I think we set the tone for these kids in the 90s. I
Yeah.
remember I remember writing some just outrageous stuff, but I never expected it to be on the radio. They play it on the radio for
We playing
everybody,
it right there.
for all the little kids to hear.
Everybody and their mama. Yep.
I've been a nasty girl. I've been a nasty. My daughter's singing it. I'm like, ah. My son's
Anybody
singing it.
want to match my freak?
Yes, like come on. We used to have to hide that stuff to Rick James.
That's hilarious. All right, so our last question of the night.
Okay.
What do you think are the top three most important aspects to creating not just any song, but a hit song?
Okay. Top three things.
Top three.
I would say being a perfectionist
Mm-hmm.
in every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say controlling your sound and make it the sound that you intended. The third thing I would say, um, get the right takes of whatever it is, whether it's an instrument
Mm-hmm.
or vocal. Sometimes you can be pretty cool, but when you will know when that take happens to where you go like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
A
And
lot
I
of
feel
people.
like that's what that means when you're saying be a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want us to be clear about it. Because you know, there's certain people that'll just sit there and try to do it over and over again, and like, okay, at this point, okay, we get it. Like you, sometimes you need to just go ahead and jump off the cliff. But
Mm-hmm.
what you're saying is something very different. You want to be a perfectionist to where you feel it in your gut and in your soul. You kind of feel it, and other people do too. When you've gotten that take, that's the right one.
Right.
That's the right one. And
Because
then
I
you
gotta,
are.
there should be no one that would settle for, you're my everything, you're my babe, you're my you know what I mean? You can't do that. Like
Yeah.
a lot of her recordings are very, very amateur-ish.
Mm.
And it just comes from, they're in the studio having fun.
Yeah.
And they're not caring about the quality of what it is. And so I get it. And
Mm-hmm.
there's people who don't hear nothing about quality, whether it's good or bad. And, they follow along, and that's okay. That's what it is. But good Lord, there needs to be better records made, I think.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. And that's why these conversations are important because it gives my generation and, below the opportunity to learn again from the greats and your
Right.
generation. Because I mean, the musicianship is different, even. You know what I mean? A lot of
Right.
people, you know, of this generation don't even know how to use an instrument. You know what I mean? And then it's not because there's certain people, and that's, I mean, not saying that that's terrible or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with not knowing an instrument.
Sure. Yeah.
But it is a different type of quality that you kind of get from
Mhm.
having that musicianship
Right.
is what you're saying.
That's
It
true.
is a different quality of having the
It's-
musicianship, of being able to know proper vocal placement, of being able to know, you know what I mean, what
yeah.
chord progressions are, you know what I'm saying? Different things like that.
It's the
It
stuff that they hired me for. Like I would come to the studio singing background vocals, and just because I knew how, whatever they would tell me, I'd jump right into it. It would be no
right,
problem.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what is the homework assignment that you would like to give out to um our listeners here to help them to be able to create a hit song
Mhm.
so they could be hot in the industry?
Okay. Well, what I want you to do is think about whatever it is that you're putting out and that you want to put out, that you want to write about. You want to make sure that it is best that you can do,
Mhm.
that you work to make it the best. You don't settle. You don't settle with the drum sounds. You don't settle with the beat pattern. You don't settle with the bass line, the bass sound, and you don't settle with how you sing the vocal or how you rap the vocal. You put your best energy towards making um, the best decisions on how to deliver it, and be original. Be
Mm,
yourself. We need more people being their original self, no matter if it's left field from what everybody else is doing. The industry wants you to think, do what everybody else is doing.
right.
And they want you to think when you get a certain age, you need to stop.
Mm,
And they only think that because when you get a certain age, you start learning more about business and they
mm,
don't be able to counter their measures. So this goes out to every age group. If you have that talent, you nurture your talent and you build your business and do it the right way. And don't settle for nothing. Business wise, nothing audio, visual, video. Don't settle. Always strive for the best. And I guarantee you'll navigate through this.
amen. Y'all heard it, folks, from the great Moe Z MD in the house today. Don't settle. Be great. Put your best foot forward in everything that you do when you're in this singer-songwriting process, when you're in this music business. Um, Quotes from Moe himself. That's your homework
Mhm.
assignment. So you can be hot like fire.
That's
So
right. That's right.
thank you so much, Moe.
No problem.
I appreciate you so much. And this is it.
Keep it hot like fire. I'm proud of you.